You already know what time it is, man. It's Cadillac Chronicles. Today we have the legendary Howard Hewett in the whip right now.
What's up? What's up? What's up?
How you feeling today?
I'm feeling great, man. This is a great car, man.
I greatly appreciate it.
Everybody we go past is like, hey, give them. This is great. This is great. It's a great car.
Yeah, shout out to cousin Greg. I got it from him. You know what I'm saying?
All right.
This was my family.
All right.
You
Good.
feel me? I'm very excited.
Cousin Greg. Great
Facts.
whip, brother. Great whip. Yeah.
Absolutely. I'm greatly excited. You know what I'm saying? Like I told you, I asked my dad, who should I get in the whip? And he said you out of anybody in the world. You feel me?
Shout out to your dad. Shout out to your dad.
You got great taste. You feel me?
He got great taste, if I should say so myself.
Absolutely, man. But yeah, you're a legend through many generations. You know what I'm saying?
Thank you, man. Thank you.
Yeah, man, I love music, and I love your music. You have timeless classics. You feel me? We're going to get into some classic music right now, and then we're going to chop it up.
Yeah. Show me now, baby.
You take my hand and show me that you'll
Come
understand.
on now.
Show
Then we break it down. Say, every day, my imagination anticipates ways I can show you how much I love you. Candy flowers, priceless pearl, romantic trips around the world. Yeah, baby, just think, you and me floating on the Caribbean Sea, so exotic, I can just feel the heat. And this candlelight with the moon so high, hanging in the Spanish sky, yeah. But before I go on, yeah, sing with me. You got to let me know just how far to let this go. Help me, oh baby, show me right now, girl. Yeah.
Show me that you'll understand.
Come on, yeah. Second verse. And if time won't allow for such an affair, baby, I don't care. Hey, we don't have to go anywhere. We'll stay home, turn the lights down low, play our favorite video. Or better still, we'll make our own private show, and we'll love so deeply. I feel your arms completely. Hey, we'll love that only we can share. And baby, I taste your sweet lips, caress your fingertips, girl. But before I go on, yeah, you got to let me know just how far to let this go. Help me, please me, tease me, girl. Show me right now, sir. Yeah.
Show me that you'll understand.
Show me that you understand. I'll be your man. Hey, break it down, y'all. Yeah. Yeah, this is a show version, brother. I was like hoping that you'd have this because I didn't want to be lip syncing and no stuff.
Word.
Come on, baby, yeah. You said I love you, baby. I build around you my whole world. Hey, we love that only we can share. And baby, I taste your sweet lips, caress your fingertips. Yeah, but before I go on far to let this thing go. You show me right now. Oh, now, baby. Now, yeah. Come on. Ooh, show me right now, sugar. Yeah. Come on out, baby. Yeah. Show me right now, girl. Yeah. Show me right now, baby. Yeah. Come on. Yeah. How about to let this thing go, girl? Yeah. Show me, baby. Oh, no. Ooh. Yeah. Help me, please me, teach me, show me.
Yo, that's amazing right there.
Yeah.
That's what, yo, you a cool cat, man, for real.
Man, I'm like I said, I'm glad because they said, "Oh, you're gonna be lip syncing." I said,
Who said that?
Right. That's what Marcus. Shout out to Marcus Wild Style back in California, San Diego, promoter there. Shout out, he's the one that hooked this whole thing up. So shout out to you, my brother.
Yeah,
Peace.
shout out to Marcus for sure.
Yeah.
That's lit. But yeah, man.
Yeah.
Yo, that's lit. For real.
Cool. Man.
Can't showing out, man. So let me ask you this. What's something that you're thankful for right now in your life?
Man, you know what? My birthday's coming up, actually, October 1st.
Word.
Yeah, October 1st, my birthday. I'll be turning 70 years old, brother.
Wow.
So I'm thankful to be here because it says in the word, it says he gives us 70, which is 70 years.
Yeah.
So everything from this point on, man, is a blessing. It's just a
Absolutely.
blessing. And so, like, that's what I'm thankful. I'm thankful that that God has allowed me to do what I love to do all my life. I've been doing this since I was 10 years old, and I had 1 9-to-5 in my life, and that was it. You know, I sold women's shoes when I was 20 years old. When I first got to LA, I had to get a little job because I didn't have any money, man. So, like, you know, I got this job at Orbox. It was called Orbox department store, and I worked in the women's shoe department. And that was my 9-to-5. I worked that thing for about 7 months or so before I went out with this on the road with this group this show group that I put together when I was in LA. And we spent about our first gig was Helsinki, Finland. So, you know, that was it. That was the beginning of the whole situation.
Wow.
Yeah.
How did you link with Shalamar?
I met Jeffrey and Jody when I first got to LA. I connected with these people down this place called Mavericks Flat. It's down in the Crenshaw district. There's a club, and there's a club on the weekends, but then on the weekdays, it was a booking agency. And they put together show groups and stuff. They had this one group called Love Machine, where you remember who was that? Miss in Fridays, Kathleen Bradley. She was Miss Jackson, Miss Johnson, or whoever was across the street. If you remember Fridays, you know, with Ice Cube and then like, you know, she was in that group. She started out in that group and stuff, and so then I helped put together this group called Beverly Hills. And so then Mavericks, like I said, was a club at on the weekend. So anytime we wanted to try a show out, try some music out, and try a situation out on a live audience, we would play Mavericks. And so all the Soul Train people used to come down there. You could look out in the audience at any time, and you see, you know, Lionel Richie sitting out there, Shaka sitting out there. Richard Pryor was sitting out there in the audience and stuff. So, and then like I said, all the Soul Train people used to come down there, Soul Train dancers. So that's when I first met Jeffrey and Jody, before Shalamar even existed. And long story short, I went overseas with the group Beverly Hills, stayed over there about a year or so, came back, and then when the they were out on the road while I was overseas. Shalamar formed. That's when Shalamar formed, and then at that point, they had Take That to the Bank out. And so then they were out on the road, on a promotional tour for Take That to the Bank. And the cat that sang Take That to the Bank was this cat named Gerald Brown from Cincinnati. And so like they got it, they had a little whatever it was. I never really got into it, but they split up, and Gerald left them out in the middle of this promotional tour.
Wow.
With no lead singer, man. So like Jeff knew that my lady worked for Don Cornelius at the Soul Train dance studios at that time. And so he called her to find out where I was, right?
Wow.
And so, like, she told him, and at the time I was working with this cat, Jeffrey Bowen, over at Motown. And we were doing an album on Eddie Hazel, guitar player for Parliament Funkadelic. And he was doing a solo album on Eddie. And so I was working with him on that. And they started, money started kind of getting shaky, it wasn't reflecting the time that we spent in the studio. So I had gone to the Motown building to have a meeting with Jeffrey Bowen to talk about, my money, right? And so like I'm in the meeting, and in the middle of the meeting, man, the phone rings. And this cat, Jeffrey's co-producer, this cat named Angelo Bond, I think his name was. He answers the phone, and he looks at me. He says, "It's for you, right?" And I said, "Well, if it's my lady, tell her that I'll call her when I get done with the meeting," because he was the only one that knew where I was. That I thought anyway.
Right.
And so she, he says, "Well, it's not a lady. It's a guy," and it sounds. This is before cell phones, right? This is back in the '70s, man. This is when you could hear, when the long distance phone call, you could hear it was long distance because you hear all the crackling stuff all on the line. He says, "Well, it's not a guy, it's a lady," and it sounds like it's not a lady, it's a guy. It sounds like it's long distance, right? So I get on the phone, and it's Jeffrey Daniel from Shalamar. They were in New York. And he said, "Man, we want to offer you, an equal position in the group as lead singer, because he had heard me sing from Maverick's Flat with Beverly Hills, the other group." And so he says, "Man, he said, 'Where are you? You at the Motown building, right?' I said, 'Yeah.' He said, 'Where you at?' I said, 'I'm up on the 15th floor.' He said, 'Well, Solar Records," which was a record company they were with, he said, "their offices are in that same building down on the 9th floor. Right?" So he says Dick Griffey, who owned Solar Records, the owner of Solar Records, he said, "We talked to him about you, and he's waiting to get in touch with for you to get in touch with him." So I get off the phone, man. I'm shooting through this, right? But I get off the phone, and I said I told them what the deal with Jeffrey Bowen and them, and told what the deal was. And they said, "Man, Shalamar nothing but a fly-by-night disco group. They'll never amount to anything. You don't want to be dealing with them. And Motown and Solar will never be a Motown, and all that." And I sat and listened. When they got done, I said, "Well, I'm parked on the street. I got to go put some money in the meter so I don't get a ticket, on my car." So I got out there and went right down to the 9th floor, man, straight down to the 9th floor. Got in, talked to Dick Griffey, and that was on a Friday. And the next morning, I called Dick. I told him, Friday, I told him, let me give them upstairs. Let me give them a chance to rectify themselves as far as this. Nobody called me from upstairs. So Saturday morning, I called Dick, and I went over to his crib. I did a little lightweight audition, I guess. I sang "Feel the Fire" by Peabo Bryson, right? A cappella, because Dick says, "Well, sing something." Jeffrey and Jody say, "You're a great singer, sing something." I said, "Well, just sing something a cappella like this, right?" He said, "Yeah." I said, "Well, Lord, me and you, right?" And so, like I said, I started in the "Feel the Fire" by Peabo Bryson, got through the first verse, half the hook. Dick says, okay. He goes upstairs, comes back down, gives me some cash, right? He said, "Leave some money with your old lady, pay some bills," he said. And he goes in the other pocket, brings out an airline ticket, and he says, "You got to be on the red eye out tonight." That was back in the day. It was before 9/11 when you could ride on my ticket, I could ride on your
Word.
ticket. You didn't have to have a specific name. So like it was like Friday I got the offer. Saturday I did a little lightweight audition. Saturday night I was on the red eye out to New Jersey. I met them in New Jersey. They had moved from New York to New Jersey. I met them in New Jersey on Sunday morning. I learned the lip sync and the choreography to take that to the bank. And Monday, I was in front of a TV camera,
Wow.
for this dance group, that dance show that they had in Patterson, New Jersey. That's how it went down.
Wow, that's crazy.
It's great, and I always tell that story because, especially to young kids, young people that are trying to get into the business, and I ask them, I say, well, what do you think the most important thing is? And it always be you got to be in the right place at the right time,
Right.
But see, that's true. But there's another part to that is the most important situation. You got to be in the right place at the right time and be prepared.
Facts.
Be prepared, so anytime if you do music, do music. If you act any chance you get, because you never know who's watching or who's listening. So but if nobody's watching and nobody's listening, at least you're furthering your skill, you're furthering your craft. And it's like, so when that opportunity comes, you'll be prepared. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Sugar Free said you gotta stay ready, so you ain't got to get ready.
Yeah, I gotta stay ready. When I first time I ever heard that saying, that was like so true. You gotta stay ready so you don't never have to get ready.
Exactly.
Yeah.
What do you think is the biggest difference between being in a group dynamic and being a solo artist?
The split. The money split.
I can dig it.
It's a much better. No, but it's like it depends. The thing is like a group, because I'm blessed right now, because especially now because I'm doing the Shalamar thing. Me, Jeffrey Daniel, and Carolyn Griffey. We've been doing Shalamar for the last 20 years almost, but mainly overseas. But I have the dynamic of being with the group and then doing my solo stuff. Last week or the week before last, we had to do a show. I did a show with Shalamar in Virginia, and then the next day I was in Pittsburgh with my solo thing. And then the next day I was in Chicago with Shalamar, and then the next day I was in Dallas with my solo thing. So it's the thing about a group situation, especially if you can be in a group that you really get along with. I mean, when you have different personalities, there's going to be conflict, there's going to be clashing, but you got to figure out how to clash and how to conflict, constructively.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So that it's not, because everybody, especially as you go along, because with the group, one of the things that was happening back in the day was that we were growing up. When we first got together, when I got that offer and joined them in New Jersey, I was like 23, maybe about 23 years old, somewhere around there. I was a kid, man.
Right.
So we grew up, and Jeffrey was the same age. Jody was younger than us, a couple years younger than us. So we grew up together. So of course we started having different agendas, having different priorities in our lives. We had different families and the whole thing. But if you can figure out how to do that thing and do it constructively and do it with a loving heart for each other, and understanding where each one is coming from, it can be a beautiful thing. A group situation can be a beautiful thing. But I mean, I love doing the group thing and then doing my thing, doing the group thing, doing my thing.
That's a super blessing.
It's a beautiful blessing, man. It's a beautiful blessing.
That's amazing. What's something that you learned in your life that really helps you?
Ah, man, how to compartmentalize. Compartmentalizing is so important in life. because I've seen some of the simplest people with the simplest lives try to live their life all at one time, and you just can't do it. Life is so complex. A lot of times, you got to learn how to take things and deal with them, put them up in this compartment, lock it up. It's always up there. You can always go back up there and get it if you want it, and you want to take it down and look at it and deal with it or whatever. But compartmentalize, put things in their perspective in your life. Because, like, man, if you try and live this life, people go crazy trying to live this whole thing.
Yeah, doing too much.
Doing too much, man. Doing way too much. Way too much.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Who are some of your influences when it came to developing your style of music?
Man, when I was a kid, and I was, 13, 14, 15 years old, of course, I wanted to sound like, there was a point in my life I wanted to sound like Stevie Wonder, right? And I wanted to sound like Stevie. And then there was a point I wanted to sound like Donny Hathaway, right? Then there was a point when Marvin was there. But what I learned really early, when I was about 15, 16 years old, I learned that I figured out that the thing that makes them unique is the fact that they are unique. When you hear Stevie, you know it's Stevie. When you hear Marvin, you know it's Marvin. When you hear Donnie, you know it's Donny Hathaway. So, like, I started saying that, I want to take all these influences and everything and, like, put me in there, wrap it all up and then put me in there. Because my goal back then was one day I want to hear somebody say, man, I want to sound like Howard Hewett. You know what I'm saying? So I started developing that, like, when I was about 15, 16 years old, going to the bathroom, the house I grew up in, all the tile and stuff in the bathroom. So you got the natural reverb. In there. Yeah. So that's why I developed the whole natural into the false situation and all that. So yeah.
Wow, that's amazing, man. So, what has kept you grounded through the highs and the lows of the music industry?
My spirituality, definitely. My belief in God. For me, it's God, Christ, the Holy Spirit. And it's like it's because like I said, this business can take you here, it can take you there, it can take you up here, it can take you all over the place. But you need something that's going to keep you evenly killed, keep you right there. When people are saying that, oh man, you're the best vocalist out there. You should be where Luther is. You should be blah 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 blah, right? And like when you hear that, a lot of times that can blow your head up sometimes. So you need something that's going to keep you grounded. And then when you're going to go through the lows of your life, what life throws at you a lot of times. And when those things come, you need something that's going to keep you lifted up, So it's like, that's, for me, like I said, it's always been my spirituality. I started out in the gospel situation when I was 10 years old and went through that. And my mom and my dad were very, praying moms, praying mom, praying dad. I know they prayed for me all the time. So those are the things that has kept me evenly killed throughout my life. People in government split a long time ago. The government's not looking out for us, but we have to look out for ourselves.
Absolutely. We got to make the change within ourselves first.
Yeah, exactly. As a people, we have to make a change within ourselves.
Absolutely.
And like but when I hear people talk about well, the black race, you got to pull yourselves up by the bootstraps, blah blah blah. Hey, we did that. We did that with Black Wall Street. We did that with Lake Lanier here. We did that with Seneca Village in New York. We did that. We had all of our black towns and black-run situations, but some people couldn't deal with it.
Right.
Some people couldn't deal with it, so they felt like they needed to do away with it. So like but if we did it once, we can do it again. You know, so we need to, as a people, we need to come together. That whole crab in the barrel type of mentality, that whole crab in the barrel type of mentality that we've been dealing with for a while now, you know, we need to, it's time out for that. It's time out for that. We need to come together as a people.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I greatly appreciate you coming through, man.
Man, this has been very, very cool, man. It's very, very cool. You know, this is a great car, man. Great whip. It's good.
I appreciate it, man. But yeah, it's a classic, and you know we had to ride around
Yeah.
bumping some classics. You feel me?
I know. Love classic music in a classic whip.
Exactly.
It's good.
It's only right, man. So yeah,
man.
shout out to you. Much love and respect to you. You know what I'm saying?
God, thank you.
You're a
brother.
legend out
Thank you.
here. And yeah, man, it's Cadillac Chronicles. We got the legendary Howard Hewett in the whip right now. We're gonna catch y'all on the next one. Peace.
Peace.